Stop. Before you skip, sit with one number for a second. According to a 2023 Lending Club survey, 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 61%. You've probably heard that stat before. You feel bad for a moment and move on. But here's what they leave out of the headline. A significant chunk of that 61% earns six figures. Households in the top 20% of American earners living paycheck to paycheck. So let me ask you something uncomfortable. If earning more doesn't create financial security, what does? Because I can show you two people right now, same country, same economy, same year, where the lower earner has more saved than the higher earner may ever see in their account at once. That is not luck. That is a system. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how it works. Meet Marcus. Not his real name, but his situation is real, and you either know a Marcus or at some point you've been one. Marcus is 34, a project manager at a tech company in Austin earning $127,000 a year, top quarter of American income earners. His LinkedIn looks great. He pays $2,400 a month in rent, drives a leased BMW, and has a Peloton he actually uses. He also has $1,100 in his checking account right now, with rent due in 9 days. Every month, he runs the same mental math, reverse engineering his spending just to stretch to the next paycheck. He tells himself he'll start investing after the lease ends. The lease ends, then there's a dental bill, then a work trip. There is always a next thing. And Marcus earns $127,000 a year. Now meet Diane. She's 41, a high school chemistry teacher in Columbus, Ohio, earning $58,000 a year, below the national median. She drives a paid-off 2017 Camry and rents a modest two-bedroom outside the city. She has $91,000 across a 401k and a high-yield savings account, maxes out her Roth IRA every year, and keeps 6 months of expenses in cash. Diane travels twice a year. She got her kitchen renovated 2 summers ago. She lives a genuinely full life. The difference between Marcus and Diane is not discipline, not income, and not their choices in any conventional sense. It's what happened inside their brains every time their financial situation changed. Marcus's brain was running its factory defaults. Diane had manually overwritten hers. Those factory defaults have a name. The first one is hedonic adaptation. When Marcus got his first adult apartment, a 1-bedroom, $1,100 apartment in Houston, he felt incredible. 3 months later, it was just home. The novelty was gone. Think about the last thing you bought that genuinely excited you. How long before it stopped feeling new? A week? 2? That is hedonic adaptation. Your brain has a baseline level of satisfaction, and it constantly recalibrates back to it no matter what you add. Now multiply that across every raise Marcus has ever received. At $72,000, a $1,700 apartment felt luxurious. At $95,000, it felt appropriate. At $127,000, that same apartment felt like settling, so he moved. His income rose by $55,000 over 5 years. His rent rose by $1,300 a month. His savings rate stayed near zero. A Federal Reserve report found that the median American family's savings rate has barely shifted in 30 years, even as real wages have grown. The money comes in, the lifestyle expands to absorb it, and the savings never follow. Each upgrade also requires a larger upgrade to produce the same emotional return. The jump from a $30,000 car to a $50,000 car feels significant, but $50,000 to $70,000 feels like less. You need increasingly larger doses for the same feeling. Marcus has been sprinting on that treadmill for a decade without realizing the ground underneath him isn't moving. But hedonic adaptation alone doesn't complete the picture. There's a second layer, and this one is social. In the 18th century, the philosopher Denis Diderot received a gift, an expensive scarlet robe. He loved it. But then the robe made his old armchair look shabby. New chair. The chair made his desk look worn. New desk. The desk made the rug look dated. New rug. By the time it was over, his entire study had been renovated because of a single robe. Economists call this the Diderot Effect. One upgrade creates psychological pressure to upgrade everything surrounding it. Here's what that looks like in 2024. Marcus gets promoted. He leases a better car. The car makes his wardrobe feel off. He updates his clothes. The new wardrobe makes his apartment feel inconsistent with who he's becoming. He moves. The new apartment has nicer finishes than his old furniture. He replaces the furniture. Marcus didn't make one catastrophic decision. He made 100 small, individually reasonable ones, each following logically from the last.
And it all started with a car lease. What makes this worse is that as Marcus's income grew, so did his social circle. He stopped splitting bills with college friends at Chipotle and started going to steakhouses with colleagues who expense everything. Research from Harvard and the University of Chicago found that your spending is more accurately predicted by the median spending of your 5 closest friends than by your own income. Marcus, earning $127,000, feels poor because he's measuring himself against people who earn $180,000 and live like they earn $240,000. Diane never let her measuring stick change, and that single fact changed everything about her financial life. So how did Diane break out of both traps simultaneously? 8 years ago, when she received her first teaching salary of $47,000, she sat down with a notebook and wrote out what she called her enough number. Not her dream lifestyle, not what she thought she deserved, what would genuinely make her daily life feel full and unhurried. The right home, the right car, the right monthly budget for food and experiences that brought her real joy. She landed on $3,400 a month in take-home spending, and she made a real decision, not a wish, a decision that this would be her permanent ceiling regardless of what her income did next. When she got a $4,000 raise 2 years later, the entire raise went to her Roth IRA. When she got $6,500 more after that, it went to her 403b. Her lifestyle didn't move, her savings did. Psychologists call this pre-commitment, making a binding decision before the social and emotional pressure to reverse it exists. It breaks hedonic adaptation because your brain cannot recalibrate to a new normal you've explicitly ruled out. It breaks the Diderot Effect because there's no trigger. No new car means the apartment feels fine. No new apartment means the furniture is fine. One decision prevents 50. The math this produces is striking. Diane saves $1,500 to $1,800 a month and invested at the S&P 500's historical average return accumulates roughly $270,000 to $320,000 over 10 years. Marcus saves $400 in good months and nothing in bad ones, roughly $70,000 to $80,000 over the same period. Marcus earned $690,000 more than Diane across that decade. Diane has 4 times more saved. The gap was never what they earned, it was always what they kept. You don't need to become a minimalist to run this override. You need to do 3 things. First, audit your last 3 months of spending and split every transaction into 2 columns, spending that created lasting satisfaction versus spending that was momentary relief, social performance, or keeping up. For most people, the second column is larger. That gap is your baseline problem. Second, run the isolation test. Ask yourself honestly, if you had no social media, didn't know what your colleagues drove, and couldn't see how anyone else in your income bracket lived, what lifestyle would genuinely make you feel good? That answer, free from comparison, is your enough number. Most people find it's meaningfully lower than what they're currently spending. Third, set that number as your ceiling and automate everything above it. Every paycheck, savings and investments come out first, not what's left over, but first. When a raise comes, it goes directly to your automated contributions, not your lifestyle. Fidelity's research shows that people who automate retirement savings accumulate 3 times more over 20 years than those who decide manually each month. Same income, different architecture. The trap we've covered today is not a moral failure. Marcus is not reckless. He is a person who was never told that his own brain was running a program designed to work against his bank account. The entire consumer economy is built on hedonic adaptation and the Diderot Effect. Every ad, every algorithm, every product launch is engineered to push your baseline higher and make your current life feel insufficient. And it does all of this while making you feel like you're succeeding. The nicer apartment feels like a reward. The leased car feels earned. None of it feels like a trap, and that is precisely what makes it one. The measure of financial success was never income. It was always the distance between what you earn and what you actually need. Write your enough number down today, protect it, and commit that everything above it builds the future version of you who has real options.
If this breakdown hit differently and you want to keep understanding money the way they never taught you in school, please like the video so that it reaches the right audience and subscribe to Dollar Decoded. We decode the psychology, the systems, and the real mechanics behind wealth so you stop reacting to your finances and start understanding them, one video at a time. See you in the next one.